In the work session, we'll start out with any department head reports. If any department heads have any information they need to share with us prior to the council meeting, this would be the time to go ahead and do that. Do we have any department head reports this evening? Or updates? No, they'll all come during the meeting? Okay. We'll go ahead and review the agenda. Who will be leading our invocation and pledge this evening? You nominated him last week, didn't you?
He's got June, we got July.
Okay, I got you.
It's month.
I didn't get the schedule. Okay, then we'll have the review of the approval of the minutes from last week. Item 4, public comments, petitions, requests, and communications. Pam, do we have anyone that has requested to speak at the meeting tonight? Thank you. We do have a special event request from Melissa Jones at Mary Carter for an event. They're going to celebrate their 67th anniversary. We have 4 items from the Alcohol Review Committee. We'll have committee reports. I'll be giving the financial report this evening and a couple of recognitions, and then the mayor's report. Unfinished business to hold a public hearing to declare public nuisance at 1315 Maple Drive and 611 Cleveland Avenue. So I will open the public hearing. We will have comments as needed from anyone here in regards to that public meeting. I think, Blake, you'll give us an update at that point. Thank you. And then item number 2 on unfinished business would come out of the public hearing, and then we would consider declaring public nuisance on Maple Drive and Cleveland Avenue.
Which they are at this point.
Then new business, we have a bid for pipe for the Logan Street work, the CDBG grant that came in, I think under what we expected. Is that right? Okay, so that bid came in 11% less than
Correct.
the original
Correct.
estimate. Are you going to share that in committee report, or?
Yeah, we can, yeah.
Okay. Or when we get, yeah, you
Yeah.
can share in committee report.
We can share committee report.
Okay. We've got 3 job descriptions at the airport. Then we have a resolution to award the bid for site prep at the Frank Research and Technology Park, and I do have some information that I'll be sharing on that portion as far as where those funds came from and then what the purpose of that is. And then, Mayor, if you want to elaborate on that portion about the Frank property, Mayor?
Sure.
I'll give some information that Jamie sent me, but anything else you have there might be helpful for everyone. We have Resolution 116 to impose a temporary moratorium on data centers. And that would be for us to move forward in looking at ordinances regarding data centers. Item number 5 is a public hearing for another nuisance property, which is at 10th Avenue Southeast and 310 10th Avenue Southeast. Will you update us, Blake, on that one now? Yes. That's the separate property?
That's the emails that we were getting from
Those are
Jacob.
2 parcels together, and they're both owned by the same individuals. We have tried to reach out to the property owners multiple times, and we've not had any correspondence with them. So that's why we're having it on the agenda tonight, to ask for your help to abate that property, to abate the nuisance of that property. So.
Okay.
That's the one just off 278 to the
Yes,
south?
sir. It's on the block south of 278 off of 10th Avenue Southeast, and I believe 4th Street. That's at the corner of 10th Avenue Southeast and 4th Street Southeast, right there.
We've got, I think everybody was on, and we've gotten emails from city, yeah. That's,
Yep. But that will be just setting the public hearing, which will be next month, correct?
Yes, ma'am. July 20th will be the public
Okay,
hearing for
July
that.
20th.
So we will use we did order some signs that we have to put up as part of the state law for this, so, and we're going to reuse those signs to help save us some money. So we'll take those down from the two properties that we have on the agenda tonight, and we'll post them on that property once we get closer to that public hearing date.
Okay, thank you. Okay, then we have a resolution, 2026-118, to approve a one-time appropriation from the opioid recovery funds to restoring women's outreach. I think what I'll do there is ask for a 6-month update on the progress.
Maybe ask them to bring receipts too,
Okay, with a-
or list them.
Well, or a
whatever.
spreadsheet of
Yeah,
expenditures
Yeah,
and-
that'd be fine, yeah. And who got the work and all.
In case someone ever,
Okay,
we got to account for where that opioid money goes. So,
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
okay, we have item number 7, the first reading of ordinance 2639 to set the sanitation rates for fiscal year 2027. Sam, are you going to talk about that during the meeting? Yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you. Then we also have 8 and 9 on the agenda is water and sewer. Chris, are you going to address those during the meeting? Yes, I can. Okay. Or, well, Paul, you're going to do that during committee report, aren't you?
Yeah, I was just gonna bring that up during committee report. Pretty simple. Not unless you got something to add, Chris.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot that you had that down on your committee reports, Paul. Then we have item number 10, to refer to the City of Cullman Planning Commission, ordinance number 2642, to amend the zoning ordinance to prohibit data centers. So that will be sent back to the Planning Commission. And then item number 11, to refer to the Planning Commission ordinance 2643, to amend the zoning ordinances to prohibit new detached single-family. Are you going to talk about this?
Brandon is scheduled to be here. I've asked him to come and give a brief overview of it. He had a type of something going on, and I'm not positive that he's going to be here or not. I hope that he is.
Okay,
If not, I mean, it's, the hyperlinks are very self-explanatory. They've got graphs and all that Wes and has helped Brandon with and his department over there. So, I mean, there's a lot of good information on there. I hope he can be here to hit the, because most of this was the building department's ideas that we did back and forth on for several meetings. But you see that, I mean, it's self-explanatory. Wes, you agree? I mean,
I do.
it's,
I mean, basically, I'm like you, I hope Brandon comes later, because he's the
Yes.
expert. But the design quality standards are requiring a higher than average style of house. It's requiring different things. The mayor, I believe, we went over that the other day. We looked at it. Requiring a little higher construction, a nicer home, basically, at the end of the day. And
if we relax the setbacks on the particulars.
correct. If you build a nicer home based on those requirements that are on the screen, then you could have a slightly smaller lot.
R1, R2, R3.
It does prohibit any new R4 single-family residential unless it's already zoned R4, but no new moving forward, which that was something that the moratorium was on, and it will be prohibited moving forward. So I know that was something. And then the other kind of big thing was the townhomes. That's what we call them. He calls them single-family attached, but we all know them as townhomes. It's encouraging people to build townhomes in R1, R2, and R3 because they seem to do really well, don't seem to have any issues with building and those kind of things, but
But there are stipulations of them going into an already established R1 neighborhood that may have one lot left.
right.
So that it prohibits that also.
yeah, if you have, it can't have single-family housing on both sides and then a townhouse set in the middle. It's got to start at one section of the corner of the street and go from there. So it doesn't look like it's in the middle of an existing neighborhood. So I think Brandon did an outstanding job, working on it, kind of fine tuning some different things. Been several meetings, but
Did you
hopefully-
say we would permanently prohibit R4 housing?
Just.
Single family.
Just single family. So right now, it's under a moratorium, so it's not allowed at all right now. So this
For 1
would
year.
take the place of that, so that would go away. And if you already have something zoned R4, then you could have that single-family housing like you've always been able to. It's just for anything new that's R4. It would have to be R3 and be built to that design quality standard to get you that small lot like that.
And it just about coincides with the old R4 setbacks, the R3 enhanced build. From what
And I don't know the name of all the subdivisions, but I know Brandon showed us, off St. Joseph on the right, there's that really nice subdivision with those homes. You know, that would be an example. He even looked at up on, by Morningside Assisted Living, you've got that area that maybe the Walker Brothers built that subdivision in there, I think. Just brought up some examples of some smaller, lots, but some really nice quality homes. It's kind of what the goal was to encourage.
So what we'll be doing is sending it to the planning commission. We're not voting.
That's correct.
No,
So
no,
it'll go to the planning commission, and then there'll be opportunity for input there.
yes, when it goes to the planning commission, they'll be able to put in feedback and bring it back to y'all, because it'll have to come back to you, and you'll have to set a public hearing, and it's still got a long ways to go. It's
Yeah,
very, at the
months.
beginning, yeah, it's at the beginning of
Okay.
the process.
Okay.
David, to answer your question?
You answered my question. More discussion to come, so.
Okay. Just
Well,
wanna make
and there will be, this will go back to
Yeah,
the
I
planning
got you.
commission. So we'll have plenty of opportunities, and so other people will also have plenty of
And
opportunities.
it can be
to
edited and
provide input.
changed at
Yeah.
this point. It's not.
Gotcha.
Okay, then, we will, after that item, we have a need to go into executive session. So Brandy, will you share at that point? The need and the justification for executive session? Okay. Okay, is there anything else on the agenda that we need to?
Well,
take
we won't discuss anything after executive session, so people can leave.
That's
correct?
right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And we won't be taking any action after
Yeah,
executive
of course.
session. Okay, last week, we had several items that we were looking at. Do y'all have those documents or
I have
any
mine. I just
input?
didn't bring them out here.
Yeah.
Go grab them real quick.
I got mine in the truck.
Madam President, you will need to adjourn after the executive session. That's the only thing you'll have
Right,
to
but
do.
yeah, that'd be the only, we won't take any action on anything discussed or learned during executive session.
Madam President, I didn't bring my homework.
Okay, you can look on with your neighbor. That's what we'd always say in school. Look on with your neighbor. Also, while we're getting ready to do that, Blake, y'all are working on updating some of the nuisance ordinances too? Yes, Madam President, we are. What's our timeline, or do we need to have some input on, before it makes it?
I can share with you, I guess, some of the things that we're changing. So we, more than likely, will have it on the agenda for the first reading on July 6th, and then the second reading will be on July 20th.
Okay,
So basically, the reason why I guess we're doing this, we are gonna add the new procedures once the properties go through the weed nuisance abatement. We're adding that alternative abatement that we're allowed to do by state law, so we're gonna add that in there. When the ordinance was recodified in the fall of 2020, it overlapped with the existing, so there's several sections in there that are in there 2 to 3 times.
Okay.
So it's very repetitive, so a lot of that we're taking out, and we're probably retaining about, I would say, 90% of what was already in the newest nuisance ordinance that was passed in the fall of 2020. So there's not very many changes that we're making. most of it's just getting rid of,
Cleaning it up?
yeah, just getting rid of the repetitiveness there, so.
Okay, thank you. So we'll be looking
And-
out for that in July.
We are adding a few definitions of some things.
Okay.
And I can, like I said, I can provide y'all with a copy of what we've changed and so forth, if you would like to see that, so.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, did y'all have a chance to look at the Business Advisory Council, and do you have any input or ideas regarding that?
I do. I understand the concept of why, and I've had discussions with a few people that, particularly that live in the county but have businesses in the city that, feel like they need a voice, and I get that. I just think we really need to move slow on this and make sure we think through exactly what this body of, or this committee, what their responsibilities will be, and they don't really have any authority, but how it'll work. I just make sure we're not creating more problems than solutions.
Right.
So I just want to make sure we have some deep discussion before we vote on something on this.
And defined roles.
Exactly,
Yeah.
defined roles. And I read through it, and I'm not opposed, I like the idea. I just think we gotta, sometimes you rush something through and you
Right.
create more problems than you realize.
Yep,
And of course, we have been slow playing it for a couple of weeks. We
Well, I know.
need input. I mean, really, we need input.
I agree.
yeah, there's no rush on it, so if we can just make sure to get it right and really consider all the possibilities,
Okay.
if it can be an advantage to our community and to our businesses.
If it's, the one thing I really do understand is, because I've got several people that, have told me, I don't live in the city, but I have a business, that's still my livelihood, and they deserve a voice too, and an input, so I get that, so.
Okay. Anybody else?
I've just got a word, and it doesn't need to be, it's nothing.
You can just give it to me for edits. Mayor, do you have thoughts on that? The Business Advisory Council?
Yes. Not going to share it, though.
Okay,
I'll talk to you privately.
okay. All right, what about, let's see, we've got the moratorium on data centers. What about small business stimulus? I know,
So the moratorium on data centers, what we're voting on is temporary. And
Yes.
we will replace it, probably, we will have the opportunity to replace it with something permanent.
yes,
So in the temporary, we didn't
ordinance.
really define temporary, how
Is it
long.
1 year?
Is that what it is?
I think
year?
it's a year. I thought I read it that way.
It's 1 year's what, okay. So okay.
but then that gives us time to
So,
do the
I mean,
research
I get it.
and get
I
an
support it.
ordinance in place.
Gotcha,
Yep.
okay.
And this is only for the city of Cullman,
That's right. Oh, yeah,
so
yeah. We
that's
can't-
as far as we can go.
Gotcha.
Brandy, do you have anything else on that?
No, it has the one-year term limit.
I just saw temporary, I didn't know that was what it meant, so, okay.
Okay, on small business stimulus, do any of you have any input on that? I think Jamie with Economic Development and Susan, they're out of town right now, so I won't be able to talk with them until they get back. But did y'all have any ideas or input
I
on
got a
it?
couple, and once again, on this, I think we ought to move slow, like David said on this, and I really think that if we could get this close, this might be the first task for the Business Council, if we can get that formed. I wanted to ask you just a question about reading it, that they've at least got to create 2 new full-time jobs, and then there's, have to check them after so many years and this and that. So I was just wondering, like, some businesses would expand and not add a job. Would they not still need, you know what I'm saying? Like, they spend $250,000, getting a larger floor or whatever, and they may not need, they may just need more space. They may not need employees. And that concerned me a little bit that they, that there could be, I know I've done it. I know I've added on and not added employees just because we needed more floor space or whatever. And
Well, and you know, after last week, we talked about, would it be for the property owner or the owner of the business? Because a lot of times, the owner of the business doesn't necessarily own the property, but they would be expanding their business and increasing revenue. Wes, we had a lot of conversations after the last meeting too, about thinking about how we could do that.
Yeah, that was one of those things that sounded like a great idea. You start thinking about, are you really rewarding the right person? And to what you just said, adding jobs isn't necessarily a goal for us right now as a community, as a city. We have a pretty low, so I don't think that should be necessarily be an incentive. We want you to add jobs. Well, right now, we have workforce issues the other way. We have people, short of workers. So adding jobs might not be something to tie it to. So we need to.
But the capital investment's great.
Yeah.
That part of it's, I think it's great. I don't know how much it'll be used either, but I think it'll be used some.
Okay.
But once again, I don't have all the answers on this one either, and I know it needs input. We need input on this also.
Wes, let's get together with Jamie and Susan when they get back, and Mayor, and let's really talk through the avenues so that it's conducive to supporting the small business. And I know you've got some ideas, and so we'll work on more drafts of that,
Okay.
and then we'll,
I like to be in on that discussion. if
But I do
possible.
think if the board ever does materialize, I think that's my reason for, and like David too, I hear the same comments that, I've had my business in the city, I live in the county, I don't get a vote. This would give, it's spelled out in there that they have to elect a president and all that, and there'll be a liaison to the council about, but I think that if the board is as useful as I hope it is, they should have input on the small business stimulus.
okay.
Okay.
All right, we'll set up a meeting to work on that, and make some edits. Okay, I think the last item from last week was the resolution for the Cullman Downtown Redevelopment Authority, which we have since learned that they dissolved themselves. But I've asked Brandy to make sure that we follow the legal proceedings to dissolve them through council and with what, Secretary of State?
Secretary of State's office.
So they never file a tax return.
So they haven't been active,
No,
but as far as the Secretary of State, they don't know that they don't exist.
that's right.
Okay.
The privilege tax. But they're still on the books. I don't understand how that can happen.
Are they an LLC or anything? I mean, did it,
I don't know.
no?
I don't think so.
No?
From the Department of Revenue or the privilege
An LLC would, I mean, they're.
I mean, what is the Secretary of State keeps up with all boards and everything that any municipality creates?
I don't know, we'll find out. in a minute.
Okay. Because, I mean, like, if you do an LLC or something, you'll pay a business privilege tax.
Secretary of State's
And,
website.
and if you're going on for years and you're not using that LLC, you may choose to, hey, I'm gonna just dissolve this, so I don't have to pay. Anyway, that's the way they monitor LLCs. I don't know if this is, I have no idea about a board.
Directly, you don't necessarily have to. go
Brandy,
through
do
the-
you know?
See what?
Sorry, we're debating dissolution.
Okay, so, well, what we were asking is if it's been an LLC,
It was a corporation.
Corporation.
It is still showing active and existing on the Alabama Secretary of State's office. Now,
What I
what we
was
were
saying.
talking about was,
They've never filed a tax return, they've never paid privilege tax.
Okay.
How can they not already be dissolved by the Secretary of State for not doing those things? I don't know.
Okay.
But they do show active, so
They show
I say
active.
there needs to be something
and
happening.
once the council, dissolves it formally, it's a very simple process to
Okay.
dissolve it with Secretary of State.
okay, will you work with Wes on
Just
what
put it
that
on
looks
a-
like? Just a resolution to dissolve it,
Yes.
and that's the Downtown Redevelopment Authority, and they haven't been active for years.
Yeah.
And they're a corporation, so they'll have a book of minutes and everything else, I guess, or?
Jamie sent a bunch of that material to us after the meeting last week, showing their corporate actions.
They were under the something, they were authority. But technically, they were a corporation, so.
Okay.
Okay,
When was the
Right.
last time they were active?
I don't know, long time ago. Long time ago.
It's got 86. I mean, I don't know if that's, I was just saying that's what.
That's when it was formed, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's try to get that for the next agenda.
Put your mind
Okay.
Madam
Okay.
President, one of the main things I believe that authority was created for was the Central Business District. There was some funding that, there was some work that was done over around the Johnny's Barbecue area all the way back. And I believe that was one of the big projects, because I remember seeing a bunch of old ledger books where Peggy was signing out different things that had to go through that authority.
So were they approving the expenditures of the funds?
They were.
Okay. So I guess,
That was a long time ago.
I think it
though.
was in the
Those-
70s.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and that was kind of another reason with this one being inactive and dissolving it, that was another kind of conversation about, do we need to have some type of business council? And that may be a different title or a different, different set of regulations, but are there things in there that could be about,
So
could be
is it still
valuable?
showing on the list of committees and all, and there's nobody assigned to it
Yes,
as a
but,
position? Just
but they're
sitting
all
there?
expired.
No, yeah. I'm just saying that was, I'm just.
Okay, any other items for the work session?
Yeah.
Any other items for work session?
No, ma'am.
Okay, we'll meet back at 7 o'clock.